care that we also have to augment or strengthen river, wetland, and stuff like that. So that's exactly that's the whole thing that the passage is trying to convey. Now, if we are to focus upon the main idea of this passage, say, then we know that the main focus of the passage here is that all the efforts which are being made to increase supply. What is being ignored? What is being ignored? The capacity of ecological system. And what is this ecological system from where water comes? River and wetland. So the main idea is that we need to provide strength to sources of water, okay, which is ecosystem sources, river, wetland. What are the supporting themes? Supporting themes could be that we are creating better water system to improve supply. Supporting theme could be that water is used as a resource. Supporting theme could be that we are trying to engineer water system. As I said, another theme could be that we are just focusing on the supply side. But the main idea is that we have to strengthen the natural ecosystem and stop only strengthening supply, because water is more than a commodity, right? Root cause has to be addressed. Beautiful. Now, if now you try to find out the inference of the passage, logical and the rationale, let's have a look at the first option. Rivers and wetlands should be protected under the Ramsar Convention. Now, very interestingly, the golden rule says no outside information should be allowed. But still, when this exam was held, the post-examination review done by us for most of the students said that 56% students selected the option as answer number A, option number A. Why? Why? When option number A is talking about Ramsar Convention, and I know you have used your general knowledge here, and you must be very happy. Those who selected the option number A must have been very happy that we have studied in general studies that Ramsar Convention is already existing to create and to protect wetlands around the world. India also has many sites under Ramsar Convention. When did Ramsar Convention start? I know so much general knowledge, and that's why answer should be A. But what I have forgotten is that reading comprehension is not a test of my general knowledge. It is only a test of my passage understanding capacity. So therefore, A cannot be the option, because the golden rule says nothing from outside the passage is right. Nothing from outside the passage. And I have told you, in UPSC CSAT exam, many options can be correct. You don't have to select the right option. You have to select the most logical option. As per this passage, A cannot be the most logical option because passage has not spoken about Ramsar Convention. Why are you showing off your knowledge here when there is GS paper 1 for that? Keep it there. Why bring it here? I told you, comprehension is not about GK. Stop using GK. Forget about your GK. Forget about your general knowledge. Forget about your common sense. Please focus on the passage, please. So therefore, nothing from outside is allowed. A will not be valid. B. Engineering water systems. I told you what is engineering? Creating, constructing, developing. Engineering water systems should be modernized and further augmented, further encouraged. Now, very interestingly, this is nothing but the right answer. It has to be wrong. Why? Because the passage is telling you that the sad paradox is that public policy and the government is trying to augment the water systems. What water system? Engineered, manufactured, artificial water system, pipe, supply, canal, irrigation, only to boost the supply of water. That's already being done. What is not being done? Source enhancement is not happening. Ecological systems are not being strengthened, and this option is saying more and more engineering water systems should be modernized and further augmented, which means already the passage is complaining that public policy is focusing on supply side, and you also say that yes, more and more we should modernize and more we should boost the supply side. Why? That is exactly the opposite of what the passage is trying to say. That you have to strengthen the natural sources of water. Option number C. Wetlands need to be reinforced. Reinforced? They have to be recalibrated. They have to be understood as more than just open sources of water. Yes, they are definitely more than open sources of water. Why? Because they are the source from which water is coming from. Read the first line again. Water is that it comes from rivers and other wetlands. Wetland is like a mother to water. So you have to boost its capacity because it is a part of, read the last line, ecological system. That is what you have to strengthen. instead of strengthening artificial supply side systems. I hope you understood now. Why C is the right answer? D, water supply should not be free of cost. Again, same problem. Where has the passage spoken about cost? Where has the passage spoken about anything relating to money? That, government should make it free, or government, the only way we should stop the abuse or overuse of water is by creating a fine on it or a charge on it. Did the passage speak about it? Did the passage speak about option number D? No. Then why did you bother about option number D? Making C absolutely the valid answer. But my concern is not to give you the right answer, because that even Google can give you. My concern is to make sure that you agree that why is C the right answer. Answer key everyone has, and that's the reason why the intention behind these classes is not to give you the answer for various questions. That's not our intention. Our intention is to make you understand and to make you agree. But why is this the right answer? Because if you don't think, then what's the point? Okay, so tell me, understood or not? I think it's too difficult. It is. It's 2020. Come on. Now everyone is thinking. No one is saying, yes, we understood. They're still thinking, Yeah, is it clear to most of us? Does anybody need any clarification? I really feel very heavy-hearted, when I need to move on to the next slide. And I have this guilt in my mind that, okay, maybe 5 people, maybe 10 people, maybe 10% people are still not sure, but they are not saying, they're not telling me, I don't feel comfortable at all. It's like, while I cannot talk to everyone through this medium, neither can I see. But I wish I could, because I really want everyone here should be clear with it, And even if one person is not, I just take it as a very personal failure. So I get very, very concerned. So if anybody who needs any clarification, please don't hesitate. 100 times you have a right to ask. 400 times you have a right to ask. I mean, that's why I'm there, right? Why option B is discarded? Great. Okay, option number B. Yes, I will go back to it. Between A and C. No, that's good. That's really good. If it seems easy to you, still you should share with me. If it's easy for you, I'm more than happy. It's great. If it's not easy for you, yes, beautiful. I will explain it again. Yeah, thanks for asking that. That's what I'm here for. Don't hesitate. Like, I can go on one passage for 5,000 times, because even if one person walks out of the class with a doubt, somewhere I have failed, and I don't want that, So let's do it. Okay, A, C, and B. All right. So those who found it easy, pardon me, give me 5 minutes to do this again, and then we'll proceed. Okay. Okay, now option number A set after the passage. Main thing is you have to understand the gist of the passage. And the main thing and the main gist of the passage was that the passage is like a complaint, The passage is like a complaint. The author is almost making a complaint. It's a lamentation. The tone is very, very complaining. That, there is a very big paradox around water. That we people, humans, we use water. We drink, we use it for whatever reasons, but we use it. It's like a commodity use and throw thing for us. The problem is we are not realizing that more than a commodity, while we need it, but it is a part of natural environmental cycle. There is a whole big water cycle which we have studied in geography. Like, it evaporates from the lake and wetland, it goes up and condenses and makes a cloud, and then it comes back as rainfall, goes underground, and it's a cycle, In between this cycle, we humans are penetrating inside it too much. We are extracting all the water for industrial, commercial, and private use. Now, we don't realize that whenever we want more water, whenever the government feels, okay, fine, we have to make sure that every house has a running water tap. Every hand pump has water. What the government is doing, they are just trying to enhance or improve the supply side capacity. See, there are two sides to everything. One is demand side, one is supply side. Obviously, there is a demand for something, then only there is a supply for something, right? The more the demand, the more you have to make the supply. Now, India, for example, a country with massive population, overpopulated in every way. Obviously, demand for water is so high. So the government has to make sure that the demand is fulfilled. Okay, how will the government fulfill the demand? And that's the irony the passage is talking about. Instead of understanding that to fulfill this demand of water, let's try to improve the capacity of natural environment from where the water comes, like river, pond, lake, or a canal, or for example, the wetland, the marshy lands. We should improve all these If we augment their capacity, for example, if we clean them periodically, if we stop throwing waste into them, if we make sure that rainwater is collected there, if we make sure that humans are not encroaching upon these wetlands, like sadly, most of the wetlands in India, for a very long time, they were being constructed upon. People will come and throw sand on it, they will make it concrete. What is happening? What is the result? Urban flooding is the latest problem now. It used to happen in Mumbai. This year it happened in Bangalore. It was so ugly. Villas and apartments were all floating. People were using boats. Why this urban flooding? Have you ever thought? Suddenly, this new trend of urban flooding has started in Indian metros because people were eating up wetlands. Wherever they see a wetland, they are like, acha, this is the waste. This is like a marsh. It's like a daldal. Construct on it. Make an apartment over it. See, that's wrong. We have to understand that wetland, no matter how useless it looks to you, it is a source of fresh water. It is perennially round the year underwater. It has its own set of flora and fauna, different kind of plants that grow there. Sometimes crocodiles and alligators would live there, reptiles, and it is a whole big ecosystem. You can't just say that it is a waste thing. Similarly, lakes and canals, you can't do construction over it. You can't wash your clothes into it. And that's the problem. The government doesn't understand that we have to stop all this and improve the capacity of ecosystem. On the other hand, the government is only focusing on supply. Extract more and more, supply more and more. Take out more and more water, make more pipelines, make more engineered water systems like canals and dams, keep using. Why don't you understand that if you want to use it for a long period of time, you must enhance the capacity of sources as well, right? That's the main idea behind the passage. Now, in this light, option number A is talking about Ramsar Convention. So what has Ramsar Convention to do with this passage? See, you know and I know and we all know that Ramsar Convention is about saving wetlands. But does this passage know about it? Does anywhere this passage talk about Ramsar Convention? I told you, see, look at the rule itself. Look at the rule again and again. No outside information or common sense or logic can be used. See, you may be brilliant in your general studies, but that doesn't help you in solving CSAT passages successfully. You may be zero in GS and still you may do all RCs correctly. Why? Because RC is not about using outside knowledge. You have to answer the question based only and strictly on the information that's written in the passage. Therefore, A is invalid. Forget about outside knowledge. Forget about your wisdom. Forget about your master's, PhD, undergrad, coaching, GS, everything. Just think of the passage, please. Similarly, people say, why not B? So again, B is absolutely opposite of the passage main theme. The main theme of the passage is improve the capacity of natural ecosystem sources like river and wetland. Option number B is saying engineering water systems, means creating artificial water systems should be modernized and encouraged. This will again lead to problem because supply is already being focused upon. What is missing is the focus on encouraging the capacity of river and wetland. So why will be the right choice? Similarly, D, it's talking about pricing and cost. Does the passage talk about anything related to economics here? Does the passage talk about the cost of water, the fine of water? Well, I don't think so. If not, then why should you bother about it? So therefore, the right answer here is C, because that is directly talking about the main theme of the passage, that wetlands should be encouraged as more than open sources of water. More than open sources of water, they are just not like a source of water. They are the parent of your water. Look at the first line. It comes from river and wetland. This water that it's so important to you and me, it's coming from wetland. Wetland is like a father to water. So we must further encourage its capacity. Now, I really hope this is clear. I hope this is clear now. If there are three options with extreme word and the fourth option talks about absolutely an outside information, then it has to be a passage-based question. So you will choose the one with extreme word, but it has to match from the passage. Well, it all depends on your personal, you can say, aptitude and your personal reading style and your practice, to be very honest with you. There's no straight answer to how much time I should devote to a passage. But I believe you can take around, if you like, once you finish the lectures and once you are done with the passage practice of previous years, then I have seen most people don't take more than 3 minutes, sometimes even 2.5 minutes. Then sometimes after a lot of practice, even 2 minutes. That also helps. But eventually, initially, like when you begin, it's okay to take 4 minutes as well because you're still learning. So learning period is different and the final performance will make it much lesser. Option D will not be valid because it's talking about cost. The passage is not talking about cost. Read the rule again. Nothing from outside should be allowed. Like when you go to see a movie in PVR, no outside food is allowed, right? If you go to eat in McDonald's, will you take parantha with you from home? They won't allow. Why are you coming there? No, that kind of thing happens. Similarly, when you are attending this passage, why are you bothering about outside information? All right, is it clear now? Okay, people are waiting for the third rule. Should I proceed? Now, I'm sure. Although this repeated explanation may have made, okay, I'll talk about this. Repeated explanation may have made this passage like clear. Still, some people will be left behind with some doubts because it's a tough passage. So, what we can also do it for these micro doubts, like small things like why is this not there, that's not there. What you can do, you can actually mail us on Target IAS, and all the queries will be personally solved on that platform. Otherwise, when I see you on the next lecture, we can begin by taking your queries and then proceeding with the content. Okay. Now, let's proceed. But before that, somebody said that why is the word rivers not used in the option number C? Well, that's not our problem. If it was used, then also it's okay. If it's not used, then also it's okay. Because both are sources of water. Rivers are also sources, wetlands are also sources. So therefore, we have to reinforce their strengthening capacity. All right. That doesn't matter, Praveen. That doesn't matter. So now, okay. There is one more passage here, 2018 passage. Okay. Again, inference-based question. Following the same rule, no outside information should be used. Please kindly, I request you to solve the passage. See whether you can do it or not. It's not a very tough passage. And if still there is a problem, we'll discuss. So please read the passage using the rules, both the rules. Rule number 1, extreme words in any option mean that the option may not be valid. It has to be incorrect 90% or 95% of times. Rule number 2, don't use any information from outside the passage. right, the results are out, and 56% of my dear friends went with B, while 24% say it's C, and then there is a microscopic confusion between A and D as well. So overall, a very confusing picture of the answers. No problem. No problem. How? We'll talk about it. If you got it correct, brilliant. If you didn't, no worries. We'll come to know why. Okay, 2018 passage, it says the Arctic's vast reserves of fossil fuel, fish, and minerals are now accessible for a longer period in a year. The very first line, if I stop here, tells me that the passage is definitely ecology based, because we are talking about some geographical area, which is about Arctic, and then we are talking about fossil fuel and stuff. So it's an environmental based passage. It's okay. I'll explain you. Don't worry, dear. Don't worry. So it's an ecology-based passage, and it says Arctic Pole. Where is Arctic Pole? Arctic Pole, a geographical area which is near the northern pole, which is near the North Pole. It is a complete snow cap, the polar area which is full of snow all the time. Now, one thing is that it is a very cold area because it's a polar area, and it is always like a cold desert. It's always frozen. But you also know one more thing, that now global warming is happening at a very fast speed. There is so much global warming that the temperatures in the globe have increased very, very badly. People are experiencing forest fire. Somewhere you have the heat waves going, the snow caps and the glaciers are melting, and that is what is impacting our polar areas also very, very badly. Same thing is happening here. The Arctic Circle's vast reserves. Now, these areas are also very rich in some natural resources. For example, Siberia. Siberia was an area which was completely frozen earlier. But now, because of global warming, the ice caps are melting. Russia is trying to do a lot of mining and drilling in Siberia for more and more, you can say, natural gas and more minerals. It's happening everywhere in the world. All the countries have now exhausted their resources. So now, as and when snow is melting, all of them are running towards the polar areas because they are untouched and massive reserves of things like food, fish, fuel, you can say solid fossil fuels, and many, many minerals. Now, because of global warming, these minerals in the Arctic area, these resources are available for a very long period across the year. Earlier, they were hardly there, maybe for a month in peak summer. But now, because of global warming, for many months altogether, these resources can be accessible. People can take a ship and sail there. Now, but there is an opposite comparison happening with another area, which is near the South Pole. We are talking about Antarctica now. But unlike Arctic, what is happening now in Antarctica, something different is happening. In the Antarctic area also, because of global warming, the resources may have been available, but the problem is that Antarctic area is protected. There is a law, there is a treaty called Antarctic Treaty that was created way back during the Cold War period of history, when the Cold War happened between US and USSR. During that time itself, there was a treaty, an international law, which says that nobody can actually go inside the Antarctic area very, very easily. So people do not have access to the Antarctic area. And since people can't come here, people cannot do territorial claim over Antarctic Circle. Territorial claim, they cannot claim a share in the area of Antarctic Circle because it is protected by the law. But Arctic is not protected, and that is why for a major part of the year, it can be accessed by people. Simple. Next. But unlike Antarctica, Arctic Circle has no legal rule or regime that protects it from industrialization, which means if there is no law which stops people from coming here, more and more countries will come here and industrialize. They will take fuel, they will take resources because they are industrializing. They need fuel more than ever because population is increasing, demand is increasing, and especially at a point of time today in the modern world when the world is starving for more and more resources. Why is the world craving? Craving means it wants. It is desiring more and more resource. Why is the world becoming resource hungry? Because of the increasing population and because of the increase of demand towards luxuries, towards comforts, towards technology. Countries want resource, and that's why they are running towards Arctic Circle. Why not Antarctic? Because it is prohibited under the treaty, but they are running towards Arctic Circle. Now, the distinct possibility, the clear possibility, chance that something will happen, of something happening. The clear chance of an ice-free summer. Why ice-free summer? Because I told you earlier, even in the Arctic Circle, during summer also complete ice used to be there. It is a completely frozen area. But today, because of global warming, what is happening? Ice-free summer is happening during the summer months because of heat and a rise in climate temperature. These sea is melting, ice is melting, and sea can be easily navigated. So more and more countries can rush towards the Arctic. This kind of situation of ice-free summer has promoted, or it has prompted, encouraged countries with the Arctic coastline. Now, all the countries which share a coastline with the Arctic Circle, they are now finding it very, very easy to come and enter here and start fighting for the resources of the Arctic area. So no wonder all these countries who share a coastline, who are lying in the neighborhood of Arctic region, they are coming here and scrambling for resource. Scrambling, another very good word for scrambling is jostling. Jostling or scrambling means fighting for the resources, trying to snatch and eat up the resources. All these countries have been encouraged because of snow-free summer, because of easy accessibility to come here. And then they start, Scandinavian nations in more particular, they are coming and fighting over huge chunk of melting ocean. Melting ocean, same ocean which was earlier frozen, it's now melting. So now they all want to grab and they all want to claim this ocean. Why? Because now this ocean is rich in mineral and it's rich in natural gas. It's rich in things like oil, kerosene, and that's why they are fighting over it. So the main idea of the passage, therefore, shall be, what shall be the main idea of the passage? The main idea of the passage continues to be the fact that because of global warming and because of ice melting, more and more countries are now running towards Arctic for resource snatching. So what is happening? The entire, you can say, geographical and political atmosphere of the Arctic area is changing. Earlier, everyone was far away from it. Today, everyone is fighting for it. So what will it happen? What will it result into? It will result into many more changes in international relationship between countries. Many more changes in, you can say, territorial expansion of countries. So things change. And that's the main idea of the passage. The change in global atmosphere when it comes to political relations between countries. That's the main idea. Okay. And what are the secondary supporting ideas? Supporting ideas could be resources, which all the countries want. Supporting ideas could be the fact that now there is no legal regime here. Supporting idea could be the comparison that they have done with Antarctic. All these are secondary ideas. So now if we see the question, which is the most important implication of the passage? I told you, most important implication also means inference-based question. Now, but extreme words should be avoided. And second rule, that nothing from outside is allowed. Let's see the option number 1. India can have territories in Arctic territory and free access to its resources. Please tell me, my dear sweet friends, that I told you nothing from outside is allowed here. Then why did even one person choose to go with option number A? Is India mentioned in the passage anywhere? Kindly throw light, enlighten me, give me this gyan. Where is India mentioned in the passage? I know there is no extreme word, but at the same time, there is another very important clue. Nothing from outside is allowed. Nothing from outside is allowed. Is India included in the passage? Then why did somebody say that it was A? It's not there, right? So A cannot be valid. Now, option number B. Melting of summer ice in the Arctic leads to changes in geopolitics. Well. Now, the passage's main idea is about because of global warming and because of summer, ice-free summer. Look at this line. Look at the second last line of the passage. Ice-free summer has prompted or encouraged many countries which have a coastline with Arctic to fight for great chunks of melting ocean. Now, when different countries come together and they fight for a particular area, does it not change the political relations between them? Does it not change the geographical reality of that area? It does. So which means we can say it is a geopolitical change. It is a complete territorial change when people are running towards an area and they are trying to snatch it. And what is the cause behind this change? The cause is global warming, melting of summer ice. That only has made it possible for these countries to enter this previously frozen area. So therefore it looks logical. But still, what is the option number C? The Arctic region will solve world's future problem of resource crunch. Well, all right. Did anywhere in the passage were we told that Arctic will solve the problem of resource crunch of the world's future? Such a big statement. Entire global future will be determined by Arctic. Now, can any of my dear friend who chose option number D do this mercy on me and please tell me, where did you see this in the passage? Throw some light on me, enlighten me, take me towards the bright light of wisdom. Do some, you can say, pity on me. Give me this gyan. Where did you see option number C? Acha, imagination. But did I not beg from you out and out that please, sirs and please, madams, don't use imagination and don't use general knowledge? Then why did you do this? In the minds of perceivers, my dear friend, this is not about mind perception. No, I told you, it is only about the passage information. While your thinking may be very beautiful, very creative, I think those people who are making these mistakes will be very good in writing essays, because for essay, the more you can imagine and the more you can be creative, the better marks you get. So all those who do wrong in RC get very good marks in the essay. But I want you to get good marks in both. So understand, this is different from essay. Here, you cannot perceive or imagine. It is actually written in the passage or it's wrong. Okay, so therefore absolutely the passage is not talking about world future problem and it cannot be true. D, Arctic region has more resources than Antarctica. Well, the passage made a comparison between Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle in just one line, and it said that Antarctica is protected by a treaty while Arctic is not protected. That's the only comparison between these two. The passage did not compare between them in terms of resources, that which has more, which has less. Did anywhere the passage compare? The sarcasm and all we'll stay away from, Shivam. At least for CSAT, we will not use things like humor and sarcasm. We will only focus on the passage. All the sarcasm about India, we can use in IR answers. In GS paper, you can say 3, you can use it. 2, you can use it. 1, you can use it. And essay, you can use it. Not here. Okay, so the only where the passage has made a comparison between the two is about the treaty. My dear friends, look at this line. Antarctic Treaty during the Cold War. Where is the passage saying that Antarctica has more resources than Arctic? Show me. Show me. I know. So which means CSAT is more important than the essay, no? Because without essay, so you can do CSAT, but without CSAT, you can't write essay. See, hurry bari, I made a mistake. Now the reality is coming out. It's not mentioned. Can we move on to the next passage? Somebody's even trying to avoid the question altogether. Now she's taunting me too much, taunting us too much. Move on to the next passage. First line, vast resources. So Arctic's vast reserves of fuel, minerals and stuff like that is available for a longer period of time. Why? Because the focus of the passage is Arctic and the changes in geopolitics in the Arctic. Then it says, but unlike Antarctica. So this is not even protected from any exploitation. But where exactly is the just because Arctic has vast resource, does it mean Antarctic has less resource? I am very good. Does it mean you are bad? You are a very good person. Does it mean I'm not good? We can't compare in an abstract, right? Current affairs. Now, see, all the passage will be from current affairs only, but we don't have to use our wisdom of current affairs here. You will use only the information from the passage, okay? No, it's not like that. You can argue with me, you can talk. Just imagine, they are so fed up of my taunts. They're like, let's move away. We are humans. We can make mistakes. We don't want to argue with you and stuff like that. No, I'm not arguing. I'm just making sure that same mistake doesn't happen again. It's okay. In CSAT, if we don't make mistakes, where we will make mistakes? Tell me. This is a place to make mistakes. So enjoy the mistakes as well. Main thing is you understood, right? That's enough for me. So that's why B will be the right answer. I hope you understood. Again, on public demand, first rule, extreme words should be avoided. If any option has extreme word, okay, which means it will be wrong mostly, 95%. Another rule was nothing from outside should be allowed while solving reading comprehension. No GS knowledge, no common sense, only the knowledge from the passage. Yes, it was in the current affairs. I agree. Geopolitics, now because of geographical changes, the kind of changes that come in politics between countries, for example, a war takes place, and that completely changes the geography of that area. And then what happens? There is new treaty, new agreement. Now, for example, Russia is trying to enter into many areas which were previously Ukrainian territories. That's a change of geopolitics, So this is what it means. Similarly, if there is a natural disaster, there's a tsunami and the entire area gets ruined. Now it's rebuilt, reconstructed sometimes. Other countries have a greater say in that. For example, the Senkaku Islands between Japan and China, again, a subject of a lot of geopolitical debate. So it means that changes between countries, political relations, because of some kind of stimulation, some kind of geographical change. All right. Now with this, let me quickly proceed with the next rule. Why is it a repetition in the site? I don't know. Third rule. Yes, third rule is in demand. Slightly more technical rule. Please be careful. Now the third rule says that in any given passage, wherever there are relative clauses, they are not very important. But what is a relative clause? Now, please listen carefully. A relative clause is any sentence which begins with words like who, which, where, when. So whichever sentences of the passage begin with these four words, the four W's of who, where, when, and which, they are not very important because these are always telling you the supporting ideas. These will never tell you the main idea. They will never make you reach the main idea, never. They will always give you additional information. They will never give you the main information. So therefore, they will not help you in answering inference-based or theme-based question. Who, when, which, where. So please, wherever these words are coming, whichever sentence begins with these words, you can actually not focus upon it much. You can avoid it. You can not give it attention. It's fine. It's not important really. Let me give you examples. For example, there is a sentence which says, Mr. Singh, who was a great administrator, died in a road accident. Now, in this sentence, the most important information is that Mr. Singh has died. He passed away. Now, whether he was an administrator or a doctor or a painter or a poet, it doesn't matter. The main information is he died, and that's what is a takeaway for us. So, something that began with who, something that began as a relative clause was not so important. Similarly, next one. I sent an email to my brother who lives in Australia. Now, here the more important information is I sent an email to my brother. I mailed him. Now, whether he lives in Australia, Antarctica, Arctica, Venus, Pluto, how does it matter? He'll still be my brother. So, more important thing is I wrote an email to him, not really whether he lives in Australia. Similarly, third example. They called a lawyer who lived nearby. Again, here the crucial question is that they called a lawyer. That's the more important takeaway from the passage. Who lived nearby? Now, whether the lawyer is living nearby or far off, you still have to call the lawyer if you need the lawyer. So, who lived nearby per se is not important. So, again, relative clause in the sentence is less important. The main idea is they called a lawyer. I live in London, which has some fantastic parks. The main idea is that I live in London, which has some good parks is again additional information which is not so important because it's a relative clause beginning with the word which. All right. So whichever sentences start from words like who, when, which, where, you can avoid them. You don't have to focus upon them while reading the passage because they will never give you the main idea. They will always give you only the supporting idea. Now there is a query coming my way. Paradox meaning is not clear. The meaning of paradox is a kind of irony. It's a kind of opposite thing that's happening. It's a contrary thing that's happening. It's a paradox that I'm eating pasta, whereas I hate it with my heart. It's a paradox that I chose not to go to office today because it was a very big meeting and I was really excited for it. It's a paradox that the same people who say that they really love animals are the ones who are non-vegetarians. So paradox is something that is absolutely in Hindi ulta, it is like you can say on the contrary. That's the meaning of paradox. Okay. Now, that doesn't matter. See, that doesn't matter whether it's where the location of the word. For example, who, which, where, when, where these words are located is not important per se. What matters is that whichever line comes after this word, or whichever words which are coming after who, which, when, where, shall not be very important. Let's give an example and understand better. Now, here is a sample passage for you. Read the passage and see whether or how actually we can utilize this trick rather. Let me read the passage with you as well and teach you how to avoid these words rather. Okay, have a look at the passage. Now the passage talks about dolphins, about some animal. So which also, no, hypocrisy cannot be used as a substitute for paradox because hypocrisy means having dual standards or double standards, So while paradox is an opposite thing, hypocrisy is about being two-faced, You are showing something else and you are something else. And you say something but you do something. It's about maintaining unequal or unfair standards. So it's different. Okay, the passage. Dolphins are regarded as the friendliest creature or animal in the sea. And stories of them helping sailors, drowning sailors, those who were drowning in the ocean, have been common since the Roman times. The very first line tells me the passage is about dolphins, and dolphins, therefore, it's a very ecology or environment-based passage. Now, the more we learn about dolphins, the more we realize that their society is more complex or more complicated than what people earlier used to imagine. So far the passage only tells you that dolphins are the friendliest creatures in the ocean because since the beginning of human civilization, they have helped people who were drowning in the ocean. They have saved their lives. Another thing is the more we try to learn and research about the society of dolphins, about the living conditions, we come to know that their society is very complicated, very complex than what people think. They look after other dolphins. Why is it complicated? Author gives you the reason. Dolphins are taking care of other dolphins, their friends, because they are very social and complicated when they are ill. Now again, this word starts from when they are ill. So too much attention I don't want to pay here. Whether they are ill or whatever the reason, main thing is they look after other dolphins. They take care of each other. Next, they take care of pregnant mothers, okay? They take care of pregnant dolphins among them. They protect the weakest in the community. They also take care of those people and those dolphins who are very weak in the dolphin community, something that human beings are also doing. So therefore, the author has compared human society with dolphin society. Just like we take care of sick people, pregnant people, and needy and weak people, dolphins do the same. Now, some scientists who have researched, again, this line, the word who is a beginning of a relative clause. So I really am not interested in knowing that what have these scientists been doing. What research have they done? It doesn't matter. Main thing is, what is the research? So scientists have suggested that dolphins have a language, but it is more probable that they communicate with each other without using words. So which means they can communicate with each other. Maybe they have a language or maybe without language. Now, can any of these mammals means dolphins who have babies, are they more intelligent than human beings? Certainly. The most important argument in the favor of human superiority over dolphin is that we can kill dolphins much more easily than they can kill us. And this is not a satisfactory argument because the more we kill animals like dolphins who are so friendly, the more, disgusting we appear to be, it doesn't make us superior. The fact that we have a physical power over them and they don't have a physical power over us, it doesn't make us superior. So the more we discover about these remarkable animals, the more we realize that we are less superior or we are inferior if we are trying to destroy them. We should and we cannot destroy them. So that is really important here. So anything here which really begins with when or which begins with who, you can stop bothering about that and focus only on the main and the core idea of the passage. So now if you are given a question which says it is a PBQ, passage based question, why? You only see for yourself. What does the author say about society of dolphin? It's a very specific targeted question. It's a very specific question. It is not asking you the theme of the passage, main idea of the passage. It is not a TBQ. It is not asking you about the corollary, logical inference, implication. It is not an IBQ. It is only a PBQ. So what should be the right answer? Since it's a PBQ, I do expect most people will get it correct because PBQ is easy. Why is it a relative clause? Samarth? Something that humans do as well? It's just a comparison between humans and dolphins? It can definitely be used in IBQ. I told you all the 5 rules can be used in every question, except the rule on extreme words. It will not help you in solving a PBQ. Apart from that, all the rules I have told you, and I will be telling you later, are applicable to all questions, IBQ, PBQ, TBQ. Very smart. Option is also relative clause. Question is a relative clause. That we can't miss. No. If we start using rules in question, UPSC will also throw us out. 79% people go with D, which is absolutely the valid answer. Why? Let's go back to the passage. Their society is more, I told you, passage-based question is the one which is a direct specific question. This is a direct specific question. It is one more thing I'm teaching you right now. Remember, a passage-based question will always ask you a question based on one point from the passage. But a theme-based question or an inference-based question will ask you question based on entire passage. That is something you must remember. This is a specific question asking on one aspect of the passage. So the answer is directly written in the passage. Please come with me to the passage. Society is more complex than previously imagined. Can you read this line? The more we learn about dolphins, the more we realize that society is more complex than previously imagined. Same line from the option is existing in the passage, and this is the beauty of PBQ, and therefore we shouldn't make mistakes about PBQs. Now for the same passage, I'm presenting you an IBQ, an inference-based question. One can infer from the reading that. Infer, making inference. Making this an IBQ. What inference can be What inference can be made from the passage? A. Dolphins are quite abundant, means we have too many dolphins in some areas of the world. Wait, I'll launch the poll first. B. Communication is the only fascinating aspect of dolphins. C. Dolphins have skills that no other living creature can have, such as the ability to think. D. Dolphins have some social features or characteristics that are similar to humans. Extreme word. No, my dear. Relative clauses should be avoided only in the passage. Okay? Nowhere else. Five, four, 3, 2, 1. Wow, 89 to 90% people say that the answer is D. Yay, I'm so happy. Yes, the answer is D. Why? Because option C. Now, please notice it's an inference based question, okay? Because it's using the word inference. So, option number B was talking about extreme word only. So, anyway, we never had to bother about it. Now, A says dolphins are quite abundant in some areas of the world. The first line of the passage tells you dolphins are the friendliest creatures in the sea. It doesn't tell you that they are most abundant or they are very abundant in some areas of the world. Rule number 2, nothing from outside is allowed. Passage has not told you this. So A is wrong, B extreme word. Rule number 1. Okay. C. Dolphins have skills that no other living creatures have, such as ability to think. In the passage, we have not been told that dolphins have such skills with other living creatures don't have. The only two creatures passage talks about is dolphins and human beings. And we know that humans also can think. So dolphins can also think. So we don't know whether other creatures have or not. It is outside the scope of the passage. Use rule number 2, it's wrong. So which means D is logical, because there is one line in the passage which will tell you the answer also. Dolphins have some traits that are similar to those of humans. Come back to the passage. Please see this line. Something that humans also do. Things like taking care of others, things like nesting others, things like communicating with each other, everything that humans are doing. So which means D is the valid answer. Well answered, all of you. Now, the fourth most important golden rule. We have just 2 minutes left, but time is money. Let's not waste those 2 minutes. Let's utilize. Rule number 4. Information or any sentence or any line in the passage that comes after the word that is resource for you. It is gold for you, because in any passage of CSAT, if there is a line or a sentence that is coming after the word that, it is very, very important. Why? Because this will directly lead you to the main idea of the passage, which means it is extremely helpful in answering inference based question and theme based question. It will help you very, very well. It will be brilliantly helping you. What is the word that? After which the most important information comes. For example, example number 1. John told his brother that Linda is beautiful. Now, the main thing here is Linda is beautiful. Whether John told his brother, mother, friends, or on social media is not important. Second, entire argument rests on the premise that their family wants to live together. The more important idea is the family wants to live together. Entire argument, premise, that's nonsense. D, last. I have decided that I will not participate in the school event. Now, whether you decided or your parents decided or you dreamed is not important. Main thing is that I will not participate. So the main information in any line or in any passage will always come after the word that. There is a very valid example here to prove this point to you. But since we don't have time to do the another passage, we will continue this discussion in our second lecture. So what all is left right now? We have to practice rule number 4 and we have to learn the rule number 5. But I don't want you hanging in mystery. So I will tell you that the rule number 5 is about focusing on structure words. There are certain words in every passage which have the power of changing the entire passage completely. These are structure words, and everything that comes after them will also take you to the main idea. How to utilize this, how to practice this is something that we shall do. How can I continue now, my dear? I would love to, but other people will get late. That too, FIFA is going on. They will really be angry on me. I can continue all night. I really love talking to you. Now, we will experiment rule number 4, but there is one homework that I want to give you. Because no matter how grown up you are, for me, you are always sweet little kids, children, like my own babies. I'm teaching you, I'm telling you something. So for me, you are like my kids right now, whatever it is. So there is one small homework that I want to give you. And that homework is that you have learned Rule number 4, that anything that comes after the word that is very important. We will practice the rule in the next class in this passage, but the homework is that please apply rule number 4 to the passage on dolphins which we have just done and see whether it helps you or not. Anything that comes after the word that, rule number 4, apply it to this passage which we did and see whether it works for you, whether it helps you in answering the question, whether it takes you to the main idea. Okay, and in the next lecture I will practice rule number 4 with 2 examples. I will practice rule number 5, and then the target is to start using all 5 rules together, and start practicing previous year UPSC CSAT questions from 2014 or 13 to 2022. And then we will do polling and we will see where are we going wrong, how much are these tricks helping us, how much accuracy we are getting. So this is all for the next class, which you shall be informed about. Till then, thank you very, very much for being this beautiful, lovely, sweet class. I loved interacting with you. I already feel so attached, so bonded that I don't feel like leaving the lecture. But thank you so much for cooperation, for listening, for participating, and being such a wonderful batch. I'm desperate to meet you in the next class, which I shall. In the meantime, stay happy, stay healthy. Please revise the rules that we have done. Please, if you have time, try to read editorial pages of Hindu and Economic Times. You know, these are really beneficial for you. Keep up on your GS quotient. Be aware of what's happening around you, because ultimately passages are from GS, okay? And do revise, and see you in the next class. Good night. Take care. Love you all. Good night. Bye-bye. Same to you. It will help you in many more places. Just experiment and see. No, not for other government exams. These are only for CSAT exam. Yes, I am. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you. I will take care. So do you. Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.